diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
As you can see, my cat has not stopped. It's been this way all morning. In fact, he just tried to run out of the house. And he got in trouble for it. So, yeah, you're just being a douche today, aren't you? He's still a kitten, though. He's barely a little over a year old. So, he's still figuring things out. Like, he's never gotten in actual trouble with me. So, even when he is in trouble, he doesn't think about it. So, love your daddy. Yes. Okay. Well, I got stuff to do, buddy. Yes, I do. I got stuff to do. Okay. Yes, you got a pretty purr, don't you? All right. Probably the new food I bought. Probably, come here, the new food, Dad. Come here, the new food, please. Took a trip to Walmart and bought cat food. They're out of cat food. And my wife usually does that stuff, but she's been out of town since last Saturday. So she needs to get back. And she's leaving for. Dude, enough. Okay? I'm not your private fucking petting zoo. He ain't gonna get. He's an orange cat, and he's just dumb in the head. He's back to back. He'll be back any second. Probably jump on the back. Now I got two cats in here whining because I have another cat who gets jealous when I give the other cats attention because he wants me all to himself. His name is Sawyer. Sawyer actually belonged to a landlord that I had, and it was a gay couple, and they split up, and there was addiction and stuff involved too. But they moved out of the house, and they literally left the cat there. They left the cat like, oh, we don't even have a cat or whatever. So it took me months to get him to trust me. But and he was huge, too fat because he got no exercise, was in a dark, dingy basement all the time. So we saved him. But once we moved and took him with us, he became a totally different cat. Now he's very social. He lost all of his weight. So he's a good cat. A little messed up in the head, but kind of fits around here. Give me a random number between 1 and 164.
97.
97 is where we're going to be at. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'll be your host today and forever. There will not be another host for the Daily Trudge unless I die and somebody else, This isn't a Johnny Carson thing where somebody's going to take over the Tonight Show or something. So if you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch, or maybe you're just in the shower listening. Maybe you're just, All right. Well, it looks like we got a couple people on YouTube. So it's good to have everybody. So 97 is in working with others. I'm going to start at the bottom of page 96. I'm also going to say sometimes chat doesn't work here. So, because usually people on YouTube are saying, but it's not required here. So, absolutely not. I have the quietest following in the world. And that's okay. I don't need a bunch of, I got one person that's I've got a stalker that peddles shrooms. Anyway, He may be broke and homeless. Remember where I'm working with others. If he is, you might try to help him by about getting a job or give him a little bit of financial assistance. Now, this is something that I'm currently doing. Yeah. You know, we, it's quite often that we're trying to hook people up with jobs. Um, yeah, I do some work with Adams County, and they have what's called a second chance program. And we're utilizing it with some of these sober living, some of these people who may have been homeless because, they want to get sobered, but in order to live in a sober living, you got to pay your rent. So what we're doing is we're coming up with like 3 months of rent for them so we can have them covered for 3 months before they even enter there, right? And then that's going to give them 3 months to kind of get their stuff together because a lot of these people haven't worked in a while and they're going to go to McDonald's or whatever, ask for an application. People are just going to laugh at them because it's not how it works anymore. So we do this. These are things that we help with. Teaching people how to sew, teaching people how to cook, teaching people how to write a resume. These are all things that we do in AA. Absolutely, they are. Um, but you should not deprive your family or creditors of money they should have. Perhaps you will want to take the man into your home for a few days. But be sure you use discretion. Be certain he will be welcomed by your family and that he is trying not to impose upon you for money, connections, or shelter. Permit that and you will only harm him. You will be making it possible for him to be insincere. You may be aiding in his destruction rather than in his recovery. Yeah, we alcoholics usually have to be pretty bad off before we decide to make, you know, I you hear a lot of the same things with people coming into the rooms. I got a DUI. I'm here because of the judge. There's a lot of people. In fact, 3/4 of my sponsees are there because of a judge of a nudge from the judge. But that's because they were going to see the judge, not because the judge told them to come. It's a little different. But either way, I'm okay with it. Doesn't bother. A lot of people, the wife's getting ready to leave. I lost my job, and you always hear the same things of what's going on in people's lives. And these are the reasons when they start to figure out, hey, maybe it has to do with my alcohol. Maybe it has to do with my alcohol consumption. Never avoid these responsibilities, but be sure you are doing the right thing if you assume them. Okay. You also cannot take a person into your home and tell them what to do. Yeah. Um, like I was saying earlier, we use some it's called scholarshipping. Okay. And really it's not even that because scholarshipping has something to do with education usually. But a lot of these scholarships come with requirements like you have to have one of their recovery coaches or and that's not something that I'm willing to no. We do things unconditional. But the thing is there's a set of things in order that keeps the people out that are going to abuse the system. Right. So helping others is the foundation stone of your recovery. A kindly act once in a while isn't enough. You may have to act a good Samaritan every day if need be. It may mean the loss of many nights' sleep, great interference with your pleasures, interruption to your business. It may mean sharing your money in your home, counseling frantic wives and relatives. Innumerable trips to police courts, sanitariums, hospitals, jails, and asylums. When was the last time you were at one? I can only say that because I was there yesterday. Right. So, but I visit these places quite often. Not necessarily sanitariums and hospitals. Sanitariums don't really exist anymore. There are mental health, but we don't call them sanitariums and asylums anymore. They still called them sanitariums when I went in, In fact, there's a song by Metallica called Sanitarium that became my theme song when my parents locked me up. Right? I used to write that thing on the walls of the padded room. All right. Your phone may jangle at any time, day or night. Your wife may sometimes say she is neglected. A drunk may smash your furniture in your home or burn a mattress. You may have to fight with him if he is violent. Sometimes you will have to call a doctor and administer sedatives under his direction. Another time you may have to send for the police or an ambulance. Occasionally you will have to meet these conditions. I've had to meet these every single one of these conditions. Okay. Life was different back in the 80s and 90s though. I mean, we didn't have a lot of things. But yes, I've administered sedatives under doctor's directions for somebody else that felt that maybe they didn't have control or they might abuse it. Um, Living in the Phoenix concept for a year, that's where a lot of this stuff happened for me. So I was like right smack in the middle of it. Absolutely. You know, we seldom allow an alcoholic to live in our homes for a long time. It's not good for him, and it sometimes creates serious complications for the family. Yeah, you don't need some hanger on hanging out at your house, the wife's trying to get her, vacuum the floor, and you got guys sitting on the couch fucking watching Price is Right every day, not doing anything, right? Usually what you want to use is like a contract. Hey, these are the expectations, because there's got to be reasonable expectations. Like, if you're going to live here, then you got to clean up after yourself. You're going to do the dishes. You're going to, there's a bunch of weeds out there that need to be pulled. Okay, this person has to become busy. There has to be, you can't just invite them into your home and then hope that they're going to get and stay sober. There's other actions that need to be taken in order for this to happen. And this is actually where sober living becomes a very good option. Okay. And I would recommend at this point, at least in Colorado, Oxford houses or Elevate recovery homes. Elevate Mary's for the women, because Elevate's men only right now, at least till the middle of the year. Though an alcoholic does not respond, there is no reason why you should neglect his family. You should continue to be friendly to them. The family should be offered your way of life. Should they accept and practice spiritual principles, there's a much better chance that the head of the family will recover. And even though he continues to drink, the family will find life more bearable. You know, one of the neat things that we're bringing into the detoxes now is when a significant other drops somebody off. The significant other, the one dropping the person off, it doesn't matter, and it really doesn't matter if it's a friend, a relative, daughter, what it is. They're going to be asked, do you want any resources? Do you need somebody to talk to for a little bit? Because we're here for that. Isn't that cool? That the detoxes are seeing, hey man, we've got to work with these families too. Because if you take somebody and they're in detox for 3-4 days and then they go to treatment and they go back to the same situation, their odds of staying sober plummet. They go way down, because this person that's in recovery isn't really a leader yet. They're not quite there yet. And so if there's a support group, if the family understands alcoholism a little bit better, and they realize that they're dealing with somebody who is mentally ill and not intentionally going out of their way to make their life horrible, right? And I know it's tough, and I don't really like saying it, but anybody that lives with an alcoholic is sick. Codependency, people are codependent before they find the alcoholic, and it happens usually because they come from a home with alcoholism themselves. Maybe their mother or father was an alcoholic. For the type of alcoholic who is willing and able to get well, little charity in the ordinary sense of the word is needed or wanted. The men who cry for money and shelter before conquering alcohol are on the wrong track. Yet we do go to great extremes to provide each other with these very things when such action is warranted. This may seem inconsistent, but we think that it is not. There's only so much space. There's only so many beds of that sober living. And, sure, the sober living needs to make money to pay the rent so that we can have the home. Okay. You know, you also want people in there, you don't open up a sober, if you open up a sober living for the money and not the intention of helping others, then also on the wrong track. Okay. Now I've met all kinds, all kinds. Okay. When I was in the Phoenix concept, I mean, they literally walked in off the street. They did. Um, and it's going to go on here to say a few things about material needs. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I'm a housing first person. I'm a housing first person. I think everybody has a right to have shelter. I don't care that you're sticking a needle in your arm. I don't care that you're still drinking it. But we're not talking about a sober living here, maybe a halfway house or a three-quarter house, something like that. Okay. But the thing is I'm a housing first person. And if I have somebody in there homeless, I know how much easier it is to get and stay sober when you have a roof over your head. So, right. It is not matter of giving that is in question, but when and how to give. And that's what we need to, there's a balance in there. You bet. If we run out trying to be a reformer or evangelist, yeah, I'm not going to be doing the how and when to give. It's sad. There's been sometimes I've had to turn people away because they would not do the work. They refuse to do the work. Well, my time is valuable. My time is very, very valuable. Okay. Now, do I think that person is a waste of time? No, I do not. It is my time that I'm considering here, where I could be working with somebody who's more willing or more apt to do the work. That often makes the difference between failure and success. The minute we put our work on a service plane, the alcoholic commences to rely upon our assistance rather than upon God. That's a big deal there. And I hate to say it, but I see a lot of sponsors that do this shit where they want the person relied on them so that they can control them. And that's old behavior. That's just old behavior. That's manipulation. That's emotional sobriety, right? Well, this is how it's done, and it's my way or the highway, or you know, sponsors telling them sponsees whether or not they should be on their head meds and stuff. No, you have no right to say it. You have no right to say either way. Okay, even let's say you are a psychiatrist, but in this case you're not. You're a sponsor. It's wearing that right hat. It's staying in the right arena. Okay, no one is the alpha omega. No one. No one's the alpha and or omega. None of us are. All right. But what we do have is our experience. Sure we do. And your experience is fact. Right. So you can share your experience if you've been on those meds. But if you don't have depression, if you don't have anxiety, PTSD, and you're telling somebody else that they should manage it differently, then go find another sponsor because that one just wants to control you. A lot of control, especially if you move into their house. Then all the rules show up, right? Because if they dominate you and they look at all the things you're doing wrong, well, then they don't have to work on themselves. I see it a lot. He clamors for this or that, claiming he cannot master alcohol until his material needs are cared for. Nonsense. Some of us have taken very hard knocks to learn this truth. Job or no job, wife or no wife, we simply do not stop drinking so long as we place dependence upon other people against dependence upon God. Pouring the idea into the consciousness of every man that he can get well, regardless of anyone. The only condition is that he trust in God and clean house. I am now going to start. I'm going to go to the bottom of page 102 and finish up the chapter just because it felt like I needed to put a little bit more time into this. Your job now is to be at the place where you may be of maximum helpfulness to others. So never hesitate to go anywhere that you can be helpful. You should not hesitate to visit the most sordid spot on earth on such an errand. Keep on the firing line of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. It's true. I go to these sordid places all the time. It's I kind of figured, Amber. I figured you were getting ready. So I don't know if you heard me at the beginning. I'm like, but, and then some of you might be in the shower. I do this a lot. I even do a lot of confronting, a lot of, I remove bullies and they don't really like it. I don't know how many times I have been threatened in this industry. I have been treated worse in this industry than any other industry I've been in. Yeah. Most of us keep liquor in our homes. We often need to carry green recruits through a severe hangover. Some of us still serve it to our friends, provided they are not alcoholic. But some of us think we should not serve liquor to anyone. We never argue this question. We feel each family, in the light of their own circumstances, ought to decide for themselves. There's no alcohol in this house, not that I'm aware of. No, nobody here drinks. Now the rule isn't really necessarily. The rule is this: can't be drunk here. You cannot be drunk here. That's the rule. Okay. Well, what does Dion get? Well, he gets drunk, so I can't drink. There was Shannon's sister was here, and nieces, our niece was here and stuff, and they asked, hey Dion, do you mind if we have a couple of drinks? I'm like, I don't give a fuck, I don't care. They never even did. They never even went to the liquor store. Right? Oh, and I noticed that they never went. Right? They were too tired. I would never use tired as an excuse to not drink. Oh, you're back, huh? Yeah. No. You can't handle being away from dad today, can you? We are careful never to show intolerance or hatred of drinking as an institution. Experience shows that such an attitude is not helpful to anyone. Every new alcoholic looks for this spirit among us and is immensely relieved when he finds out we are not witch burners. A spirit of intolerance might repel alcoholics whose lives have been saved, and had it not been for such stupidity, we would not even do the cause of temperate drinking any good. For not one drinker in 1,000 likes to be told anything about alcohol by one who hates it. Someday, we hope that Alcoholics Anonymous will help the public to a better realization of the gravity of the alcoholic problem. But we shall be of little use if our attitude is one of bitterness or hostility. Drinkers will not stand for it. All right. You know what smokers say? Nothing worse than an ex-smoker. Because there's some smokers that, then they hate it. Oh, and then I got to hear you bitching about it like you hate me because I smoke. No, see, it ain't going to happen. No. After all, our problems were of our own making. Bottles were only a symbol. Besides, we have stopped fighting anybody or anything. We have to. All righty. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see some of you in 13 minutes. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.